Hi there. So if you're about to launch a Kickstarter, how do you make sure that you can get 100% funded, be able to fund the business that you're trying to build? So we launched our Kickstarter, and within the first 24 hours, we raised over $30,000, and we ended up raising over $200,000 between our Kickstarter campaign and our Indiegogo campaign. So I'd like to walk you through the 7 steps that we took to make sure that our Kickstarter campaign was successful, and how you can make sure your campaign is successful as well. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so first step is you want to create a Kickstarter video that really captures emotion. So emotion is really the key here, because people buy on emotion. They will need to know all the features and the benefits of your product, but they will only buy your product if you get them to feel something. So what you want to get them to feel is you want to get them to feel the pain of not having your product, right? You want to describe what it's like to not have this product exist in the world. And then you want to create a sense of excitement for your product and create a sense of relief. Like, this is, now that this exists, your life is going to be different. Now that this exists, the world is a better place, right? So you want to create this emotional sense of and that's what's going to get people excited and interested in purchasing your product. A really good example of this is actually to watch Steve Jobs' original iPhone 2007 presentation, because he does a fantastic job of selling the problem that he's solving and then selling the solution. And now, it's the most valuable company on the planet. So, but really, if you watch a bunch of Kickstarter videos, you'll see a very common narrative of the world was broken, this product category is broken, and nothing in the world existed to fix it, and now we fixed it, and we're bringing this to you, and the world and your life is going to be a much better place. Now, one last tip on this video: you do not want to try and do this yourself on your smartphone and edit it in iMovie or something like that. We were originally going to do that because we're on a budget. We're putting most of these expenses on our personal credit cards, and then billing the business and telling ourselves that we're going to be able to pay this off if the campaign is successful. But yeah, it was very stressful for us to have all these expenses. But investing in a good Kickstarter video was a really good investment, and I really do not think we would have succeeded if we had tried to do it without professional advice. So highly recommended that you do work with a professional. Okay, tip number 2, you want to use a service called Thunderclap to coordinate all your friends' Facebook shares and Twitter shares so that they all happen at the same time. So the way this works is, as you lead up to your campaign, you're probably talking to all your friends about it. Other people are getting excited about it. And what you don't want to do is you don't want people to start posting about it before you launch. What you want to do is you want to ask them, hey, can you do me a favor? There's a service called Thunderclap, and the way it works is you pre-write your Facebook post, and here's the link to our Kickstarter, and you just put it in here, and you connect it to Thunderclap, and Thunderclap connects to your Facebook. And the moment we launch our campaign, all your friends, let's say 50 friends, 100 friends, they're all going to post on Facebook at the same time. And so hundreds of people, thousands of people will all of a sudden see your campaign at the same moment, because you're coordinating all of this at the same time. And I think it only costs like $20 or $30 or something like that. So that's a really good resource for just helping give your campaign a little push to get off the ground. Tip number 3, you want to start building an email list before you launch your campaign. So we built an email list of about 5,000 people. And this only took 2 weeks. This actually only took maybe 10 days. The first 4 days was us figuring out our messaging, figuring out our website, kind of slowly building the email list. But within about a 10-day period, we built an email list of about 5,000 people before we launched our product. And that really helped a lot, because on that email list, we were able to build excitement for our product, tell them what the features and the benefits were, and have hundreds of people ready for our campaign to launch the moment that it launched. And that's how we really pushed ourselves over the hump of a lot of campaigns get stuck in that dead zone where you don't have enough funding, right? Someone comes to the campaign page, they see, oh, it's only 8% funded to their goal. Why should I put my credit card in? I'm probably not going to get a product back. It's probably not going to get funded, right? So you really want to get over that 100% funding hump as quickly as you can. So having that email list that we built early on really helped us a lot. So we built this email list primarily through paid advertising, Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And I would recommend that for most campaigns to invest a little bit of money in building some momentum in the beginning, because that'll really pay off, not just at first, but over the lifetime of your campaign, because that momentum really helps carry you through. Okay, so tip number 4 is you want to ask everybody to put your Kickstarter launch into their calendars. You want them to save the date and save the time, and ideally even put an alarm to remember that your Kickstarter is launching at that time and that they need to buy at that time, right? When we launched our Kickstarter campaign, we had probably somewhere around 300 or 400 people who are online, ready to buy, rapidly clicking the refresh button, waiting for our campaign to launch so that they can be one of the first ones to buy the product. And that's what you really want the core message to be in a lot of your emails. When you're talking to anyone who's interested in buying your product, this is the date we're launching, this is the time we're launching, this is the number of early birds. So that brings us to our next tip, which is you want to have a limited number of early birds and you want to communicate that frequently. So what does that mean? If you have, let's say, 50 early birds that are available at 50% off, and you have 3,000 people on your email list, there's a natural scarcity that happens there, right? There's 3,000 people who are interested in the product, there's only 50 discounts. And if you communicate that to the people who are interested, they're going to be much more willing to do things like save your Kickstarter launch date in their calendars, because they know that, well, if they don't, they're going to miss out. So you want to constantly communicate, hey, this is the launch time, this is the launch date, and these are the number of early birds we have. We have 50 early birds available. You're going to get a 50% discount. Make sure you're online at this time. If you're not, we're probably going to sell out, and you can still buy the product, but you won't be able to get it at a big discount. And a lot of people who are interested, right, it creates a little bit of a sense of competition. It creates a sense of people feel like they're going to be on the inner circle. They're going to be one of the lucky ones if they manage to get this product. It's kind of like, again, just going back to this iPhone example, people will stand in line for the iPhone for hours and hours and hours just to be one of the first ones to own an iPhone, to own the newest iPhone, right? Even though they know that in 2 weeks they can just show up and they won't have to wait 8 hours in line, and they'll be able to get the same iPhone, but they want to go early because they want to feel like they're part of the in crowd, right? Does that make sense? So it's the same thing happens here, where if you're early, if you're clicking refresh the moment the campaign launches and you're able to get one of these products at 50% off, and you feel like you're one of the first people who backed this campaign that later became a 6-7 figure campaign, you're going to feel really good about yourself. You're going to feel like you made this happen. And so people are very interested and willing to bookmark your Kickstarter and be online at that time if you create the right environments for that to happen. And so you really want to have a limited amount of early birds, and you want to constantly reinforce that this is available, this is the benefits, and this is the limits, and this is when we launch. Next tip is you want to have a really, really good press kit on your Kickstarter campaign page. That means that when you scroll down on your Kickstarter campaign page, at the bottom, there's a button, big button that says press kit. And anyone who's in the press that wants to be able to write about your campaign should be able to just scroll to the bottom, click the press kit, and get everything that they need. Your press kit should not just be have a headline of a press kit. It should also have text. So if a journalist searches the words press kit, they should be able to scroll right down to where your press kit is. And this press kit should have your press release. It should have your images. It should have your Kickstarter video. It should have anything that a journalist would need to write a really good article about your campaign. And for images, you want to make sure that you have your product images, your founder images, images of people using the product, images of multiple angles. Basically, journalists want to be able to come to the campaign page and write about you without ever having to contact you, right? So we got featured in Men's Health. We got featured in Uncrate. We probably generated somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 from PR. And these journalists never contacted us before they wrote about us. We only found out we were in Men's Health when our friends tagged us on Facebook. So you want to make it as easy as possible for journalists to write about you, and they're not going to do it unless they can just click a simple button and download everything related to your campaign and be able to write about it. And final tip, you want to be very proactive about cross promotions. So cross promotions are when you have a Kickstarter campaign, someone else has a Kickstarter campaign, you're in somewhat related industries, but you're not directly competing with each other. You guys can agree to promote each other's products in your campaign updates. And the way that works is during your Kickstarter, every couple days, you're going to be sending an update out to your Kickstarter backers. And that might just be something like, hey guys, we hit our early birds, we have this amount left, or hey, we are fully funded now, thank you very much, right? So you're constantly updating people as you're going through this process. But at the very bottom, you'll often put a couple ads for other campaigns in your update, and other campaigns will do the same in their update, and you'll cross promote for each other. And this can generate a decent amount of sales. More importantly, it's completely free. Right? So you want to be proactive in terms of both responding to requests as people are emailing you saying, hey, do you want to cross promote for us? And you want to reach out to other campaigns that are in the same category as you. So you want to browse Kickstarter by category. So if you're in the design category, browse other design products, and you want to also do keyword searches. So again, if you're, let's say you're doing a water bottle that cleans itself, you might browse the product design category, but you want to also search for sports related keywords, water bottle related keywords to see what other campaigns are live that are related to yours. And make sure you browse both Kickstarter and Indiegogo to see if there's partnerships that can happen across both platforms. So if you follow these 7 steps, you should have a very high chance of getting your Kickstarter campaign funded to 100%. Most importantly, you really want to build that, that momentum so that you can cross that 100% funded threshold as quickly as possible so that you start getting journalists and start getting cross promotions. And it really builds like a snowball. It really happens. It happens very quickly after you get over the initial hump, right? Most Kickstarter campaigns don't get funded because they get stuck somewhere between 0% and 20%. As soon as you get over that 100%, you'll start taking off like a rocket ship, and people will start paying attention to your campaign. You'll start ranking well on Kickstarter, and you'll start getting more and more PR and more cross-promotional requests. So I'd love to hear from you. When is your Kickstarter launching, and what is your product about? Share as much detail as you want. If it's a secret, then just tell us when you're launching. If you're launching soon, we have a Kickstarter course that'll tell you everything you need to know about how to launch a successful Kickstarter. So how do you get into PR? How do you build an email list? How do you do Facebook ads? How do you shoot a successful Kickstarter video? We did $10,000 in our first 25 minutes, $200,000 in total. And I'd love to share everything we did and how we made it successful. So a link to that is in the show notes. And once again, I would love to hear from you. Comment in the video below with when your campaign's launching and what it's about.